and he was trying to help me with my suitcase because he didn't know I was acting because the cameras were so far away because it's like a wide shot. And he literally picked up my suitcase and brought it to the front of the stairs. And I was like, what is happening? Hey, it's Anna Cathcart from Getty, and I'm gonna be playing First Times with BuzzFeed Apop. First day on set of Getty. Oh my gosh, first day on set was me by myself. And it was me in Korea, like the streets with my big suitcase and like looking around everything and struggling. The very first shot ever was me struggling up the stairs with my big suitcase. And crazy story, but we were there with like background and stuff and like the production was trying to close it off, but it was still a real like normal staircase in the public. And this man somehow made it through on the staircase and he was trying to help me with my suitcase because he didn't know I was acting because the cameras were so far away because it was like a wide shot. And he literally picked up my suitcase and brought it to the front of the stairs and I was like, what is happening? And I didn't like know to tell him, but I also like felt bad because I didn't say thank you because I was so stunned. And then he like kept walking like off the set and then everybody was like dying of laughter because it was just like a nice man trying to help a poor girl with her suitcase. But he did not realize he was in a TV show. It was actually crazy. First wild fan experience. I once signed a croc. I don't know if that was like the first one, but it was maybe one of the wildest, so I definitely remember it. It was like amazing and it was like wild, I feel like could be bad too, but it wasn't bad. It was just like, what? But it was great. So I signed someone's croc. Yeah. First celebrity crush. Okay, so very, very first, Travis from the Hannah Montana movie. He's like everything you could ever want. He's the cowboy and he's the cutest and he's just love him. And then other celebrity crushes, like not a character that's not fictional, would be Shawn Mendes. I really like Shawn Mendes and I was like 11. Yeah. First thing you do when you wake up in the morning. I wish it was like yoga or like something cool, but go on my phone, probably. Like very first thing, try and stop my alarm clock. That my sister is convinced sounds like Mario Kart's song, but it doesn't. But it's quite cheery and yeah, it's always really loud as well because I will not wake up if it's not super loud. First time you got recognized. First time I was recognized was at the airport and I was with my entire family. I was picking up my dad from the airport. I wasn't even like actually at the airport. And this like mom recognized me because their child was a fan, but I was like literally just woke up and it was like 5 in the morning and like got in the car to like go get my dad. I was like 12 and she was like, are you from Odd Squad? Which was my first project. And our whole family was like, yes, she is. What's happening? This is for real. This is like, you know her from not because you know her personally. It was very crazy. And then I took a photo with her and I was like freaking out and the whole family was just like mind blown by it. It was very, yeah, I think I will always remember that. First time you knew you wanted to be an actor. I mean, I grew up watching so much Disney Channel that I always wanted to be like them and I always wanted to be an actor, but I didn't think it was realistic. Like I was like, no one's actually an actor. So I didn't think it was real for like a job. But when I did a commercial when I was like 10 for Crayola Chalk. And at the end of that, I distinctly remember like turning to my mom and being like, that was the greatest day of my life. Like, I was like, that was the coolest thing that could have ever happened. I want to do this a million times more. So I would say that was a pretty definitive moment where I definitely wanted to pursue it. First audition. Well, very, very first audition was for a Ariel, like Little Mermaid Barbie toy commercial. I was like 6 and I had to say doppelganger and I couldn't say it. But then my first like audition for film and TV was for Odd Squad, which was my first project. First acting role was Odd Squad, which was a PBS kids show. And because it was my first audition, I literally had no idea what was happening at all. I had never even seen like a script before or like been on a set other than a commercial. So that was very crazy and ended up booking one of the leads and then shot it for like 2 years, which was just very unexpected and wild. But that's kind of like, I think was like my acting classes because I got to learn all of the ropes of the industry and learn what it meant to be an actor on that set, which I'm very grateful for. First time on a red carpet. Very first time on a red carpet, I think was the Daytime Emmys in 2016. And it was like the Daytime Creative Emmys and I was presenting with a couple of other of my castmates from Odd Squad. And I was like very, very excited. It was a wild one to start with for that to be your first red carpet. I was like very, very lucky looking back now, like that's actually insane. But it was so much fun. And I think like watching the video of me presenting, I think I was so nervous and like charged out there and like tried to say my little presenting thing super quickly, but it was a great moment. First childhood memory. very first memory of childhood is very intense. This is one that's definitely like when I was very young. I don't know if this is like the very first one, but it came to mind, so I'm sure that's worth something. I remember I wanted to go tobogganing because it was snowing outside, but my dad had to leave for a work trip and his taxi arrived and I was sad that we didn't go tobogganing yet. So he told the taxi to wait and put me in the toboggan and we didn't have time to like go to a hill. So he just ran around the neighborhood holding the string of the toboggan as I was like, I don't know, like 3 years old trying to hold on in the back, and it was so great. And now I'm like, that's so cute and sweet that that happened. And then we just ran around the neighborhood and then he went in his taxi to go to his work trip. But I got the tobogganing in. First celebrity that DM'd you. First one that DM'd me. I don't know if this is first, but this was like really impactful to me. Simu Liu DM'd me, and I am such a big fan of him, and I'd met him because we were both on the same episode of Sesame Street, so we'd met like a few months before. And then he followed me on Instagram, and I was like very like what? Like I was like, why? That's amazing. And then he DM'd me when EXO Kitty was announced, and I was posting that it was coming out, and he said something of like, congratulations, or something about it coming out, and that meant a lot to me. Just seeing his name like in my DMs, I was like, you're joking, what is happening? Last one, first time traveling to another country. I mean, I'm from Vancouver, and I definitely like went to, I don't even know. I'm very lucky that I grew up in a family that travels a lot, but I definitely went somewhere in the States. Like it definitely would have been just the US. I know I went to Disneyland before I was 1 because I got a Pooh Bear stuffy that I still have that is literally like at my hotel room right now. He comes on all of my trips. And that I know was like before I was like a human. So that has to be one of the first times. Thanks so much for having me, Apop. Make sure to watch EXO Kitty, now streaming on Netflix. Bye!